So here is why I think media is pushing the interracial black-white partnership so much. And bracing y'all right now, I am going to sound a little Dr. Umar-ish, but just hold on and bear with me, okay? I think the reason why we're seeing such a push for black-white interracial couples is not because love is love, because racism is over, but it is an attempt to continue on the white heritage and to diminish the black heritage. Just know that while this is what I think, it could very well turn out to not be that at all. But I'm thinking about it from the standpoint that in about 20 to 30 years, the white race in America will be the minority. And I think that is freaking the white folks out tremendously. They're trying to find now creative ways to ensure that the white race prevails. And I think one of the ways they found that out is through diluting the black race.
You see all these interracial couples where it's a black woman and a white husband, or a white woman and a black husband. Back here not too long ago, it was against the law to be interracially married. So tell me why now. Don't say, oh, the times are changing. No, anytime the government advertise something, it's an ulterior motive to it.
Let me paint a picture for you. Say me now, as a Nigerian man, I go and get with a white girl, and then we have a son. And then my son shares an affinity for white women with me, and he also marries or gets with a white woman, and then they have a son. And you see already, slowly, the melanin is disappearing. My granddad was black. My name is Okafo. My name is Oladeji. Do you understand? You know how mad that is, bro?
It's a narrative that we hear about black men.
They don't get married?
They don't like who?
Oh, they don't like black women?
Well, yeah.
The national average for black men who are married, what are they married to?
It's got to be black women.
Black women at what percentage? Over 85%. But it don't matter though, because once they make money, that's when they go get white women.
White women, yeah.
The national average for making over $200,000, black men, right? How many of those men are married to black women?
I'll give him about a cool
95%.
95?
I believe it.
I do believe it. And then when you hear the horror stories, we got to talk about Scottie Pippen.
Girl.
Lex has a good point though, because they'll show the Scottie Pippen, right? And they'll say, look, this is how black men behave.
Yeah.
But that's not the fact. Destroying the black family has been on the forefront of the mind of the people who created this country. How do you destroy the black wealth in this country?
Yeah.
Destroy the black family. Make black women think that black men don't love them. Make black men think that black women don't respect them. That's all a fallacy. It's not true. The older I get, I'm 40 years old now, the more I realize that everything I've learned from mass media has been programmed by people who have an agenda.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Conscious Spade channel. I am your host, the Conscious Spade, and today's topic may ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to say it anyways because I am here to voice the conversations we need to have in the black community and raise awareness where it's missing, okay? So with that being said, we're going to talk about interracial love. Let me be clear, really crystal clear. This video isn't about telling anyone who to date. However, what I'm going to address in this video is the way interracial love is framed against the backdrop of black love, which is rarely shown in its healthiest form. Plain and simple, why is interracial love highlighted and pushed more than strong, thriving black love? Now, the history of black people in relation to white history has always been framed through the lens of struggle, trauma, etc. Across media, entertainment, and historical narratives, past and present, black existence is too often reduced to hardship and pain. That same framing extends to our relationships. So black love is frequently labeled as struggle love, as if it can only exist through difficulty and suffering. Now, this idea operates alongside constant online conversations suggesting that black men and black women simply don't like each other, which only widens the divide. Now, when it comes to our black men, the narratives given to black women are truly destructive, okay? Black men only want non-black exotic women because they're more beautiful, more submissive, more agreeable. Black men don't want to marry. Black men cheat. Black men don't like black women because we're too strong, too masculine, too difficult.
You a little too tough, yo. You gotta. You a little too tough.
Just have to make sense.
When I be watching, you a little too tough. I'm serious. You gotta, feminine.
Then there are the labels, okay? Black men are broke, lazy, irresponsible, not ambitious enough.
I can say with confidence today that I would not be dating another black man. They do not take care of their children. And no, I'm not talking about just paying child support. Most of y'all have a problem with money, and a lot of y'all do not make good financial decisions. A lot of y'all are not reliable. Y'all not responsible.
But I'll be daggone if I get on here talking about I'm not dating black men anymore, please. I'd rather fight every day. I'd rather go through the trenches with black men any day. Because you're going to go through stuff with any race of men. You're going to go through it with men.
And then, of course, within the last decade or so, sprinkle on top of that the whole conversation about homosexuality and how there are now too many gay or down low black men. So the net effect is that women are taught to see black men as unstable, unavailable, and unsafe to build with. And then flip the coin. And then there is the narrative of black women being given to black men, which is just as toxic. Black women are gold diggers. Black women are too loud, too ghetto, too angry. Black women are overweight, bonnet wearing EBT abusers.
Marcus, $7 ain't even gonna get me the Krispy Kreme, but this Altima still run better than your life.
Even when we're successful and polished, the message twists again. Oh, she's too independent. She doesn't need a man.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
That trope at this point has been weaponized against us, as if independence automatically means we're incapable of softness. Now, our men are taught to believe we're hard to deal with, that we're less feminine, less beautiful, less cooperative compared to other women. The net effect is that Black women are presented as undesirable, unworthy, or simply too much trouble. Now, put together, these stories create a false comparison and a false narrative. What we're shown over and over and over is that when Black men and Black women come together, it only equals chaos, trauma, struggle, rejection, etc. Meanwhile, interracial love, it is framed as safer, softer, more stable, and more cared for. However, due to the conditioning, we've been telling Black women that Black men can't love you properly, and then tell Black men that Black women simply aren't worth loving. Once both sides internalize that, division feels natural. Now again, I have no issue with interracial relationships, but we can't ignore how society deliberately plants seeds in both Black men and Black women that our counterparts are of no value. Layer that conditioning with the near absence of positive depictions of Black love anywhere, alongside the constant overpromotion of white love or having a white love counterpart, and the imbalance becomes impossible to ignore. I think a more recent and viral example is Olandria and Nick from Love Island. Now, at first glance, it's just reality TV, and most people are not thinking twice about this, okay? But from my perspective, it felt very intentional. A dark-skinned, model-esque, feminine Black woman, who we rarely see in media portrayed as such, denied by a Black man only to be immediately paired with the white man. Is this just something I'm noticing, or do y'all see this pattern too? Because the way Black men are framed as the source of pain or problems for Black women in comparison to, white men being the rescuers or the knights in shining armor. And, I just want to say for the record, I love to see dark-skinned, beautiful women in media, okay? Because so often you just get the masculine, overweight, mean, aggressive type of character. So when I do see women in the media, dark-skinned women in particular, I am ecstatic. I'm finally like, okay, cool. But then you pair her with a white man, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We're back to pushing the agenda. Another recent example that I felt was a good comparison was Halle Bailey and DDG. Not that she chose a white counterpart, but is the framing around their relationship in the media that has often been less about love and more about struggle and drama and hardship. And this isn't limited to reality TV or celebrities, it shows up globally. Italy, for example, I remember being in the airport and seeing a billboard showing a white, likely Italian man with a Black woman with natural hair. But even abroad, the trend appears the same. Pair a Black woman with a white man, the whole context, the whole visual gives dream, aspirational, travel the world, luxury lifestyles, endless possibility. Now, why do I think that this imagery is so relevant, especially within the global context? Well, because birth rates are declining, and in several regions. Most of Europe, including France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Russia, China, Japan, South Korea, demographers and policy experts have pointed to a growing incentive to integrate populations for long-term sustainability. Now, when you see Black women paired with other men in the media, particularly and most often white men, it's often framed as love and safety and stability. But beneath that narrative lies a deeper conversation about what? Legacy and population strategy. And why target Black women specifically? Well, because Black women are seen as the root, the original template. And I know we hear all of this kind of, oh, Black women are the foundation, we're the originators, we're the originals, da 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 da. That's not just cultural rhetoric. It is rooted in science. The concept comes from what geneticists call the mitochondrial Eve, sometimes referred to as the Eve gene. Research in human genetics, widely cited in journals like Nature and Science, has traced the most recent common maternal ancestor to East Africa, living roughly 150,000 to 200,000 years ago. Every human alive today carries mitochondrial DNA that connects back to that single lineage. And to be clear, this does not mean that the Black woman was the only woman alive at the time, nor does it have any true spiritual or cultural context connecting her to being the biblical Eve. However, what the science shows is that while other maternal lines eventually died out, the African maternal root is the one that survived. So put simply, the genetic foundation of humanity is African. This scientific reality is why there has long been a fascination with Black people, Black men, and Black women. Quiet, yet persistent, okay? And I think I want to jump again because I think it's worth asking, how easy is it to erase a people? You can consider just 2 generations. A biracial child grows up and by social influence often pairs with someone white, or chooses to align more with the non-Black side of their heritage. Over time, their children become lighter, and some begin to distance themselves or even deny their Black identity altogether. Now, with that said, the fastest way to weaken a people is to split men and women and sell it as freedom of choice. Control how Black men and Black women see each other, and you control how we form families, how we build wealth, and how we secure legacy. And I definitely get it. Not everybody has, the best of luck in relationships. So go where you are loved. That applies to both Black women and men. But don't get it twisted, because what we're living through right now is the result of narratives deliberately designed to destabilize us. Slavery, of course, where, families were torn apart. Government policies that put Black women on assistance and banned Black men from even being in the home. Officials literally checking closets to make sure no man was present. Record labels only pushing Black artists who agreed to promote destructive music. Lyrics disrespecting women while glorifying exotic-looking ones. And then, of course, the constant media pressure showing Black women in anyone's arms but the men who actually match their frequency. So when we see conflict in how we date and how we marry, how we build families, it's not random. Tradition and intentionality were never allowed to grow and prosper freely in the Black community. So a lot of us are starting from ground zero, having to work through trauma, abandonment issues, trust and commitment struggles, communication barriers, financial strain, gender role conflicts, societal pressures and media framing, unhealed trauma, power dynamics, and ego. These are things that we haven't fully worked out together as a community, as Black women and men. Are you paying attention? Because I am. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning into the Conscious Spade channel. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you think I missed anything, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to like the video. Every like, comment, and subscription helps push this channel. So yeah, until the next video, peace and love.